Cannot get over just how good the leather smells. And I know this is going to sound really wild to many of you, and this is even wild coming out of my mouth. It smells a lot to me almost like a Ferrari. What's going on, guys? Car review guys here. My name is AJ, and this week we have the 2025 Subaru Outback, and this is trim level Touring XT. So this is the highest trim level offered on this vehicle. Definitely a lot of features, not something I expected from Subaru. It's the first one for me that has heated steering wheel, ventilated seats, stuff like that. But nonetheless, we will be getting more into this full review. Next video will be 5 things to love, 5 things to improve. You guys know every single week we do the same format for every single vehicle. If you're new to the channel, again, over 22,000 subscribers, thank each and every one of you. Here's the format, just so that way if you want to skip through, I don't want to keep you for the whole thing if you're just looking for one particular thing. So nonetheless, we're going to start with a cinematic, which is 60 seconds or less. Then we're going to go around the exterior, stats, figures, stuff I feel like you guys want to know. Then we'll jump in the interior, and then we'll take it on a drive. That's the order of events. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get on into it. Let's roll. This Touring XT is a turbo 2.4 liter 4-cylinder boxer motor pushing 260 horsepower and 277 pound-feet of torque. Transmission is a Lineartronic CVT with an 8-speed manual shift mode. Drivetrain is all-wheel drive, true symmetrical, of course. Curb weight is around 3,946 pounds, which is going to be pushing it from 0 to 60 in, to me, an impressive 6.3 seconds. MPG is 22 city, 29 highway with a combined average of around 25 miles to the gallon. Gas tank size, 18.5 gallons. Let's touch on dimensions. Overall length, 15.99 feet. Width is around 6.1 feet, and ground clearance is 8.7 inches. If you need a little more ground clearance, I do believe the Wilderness is a little bit higher off the ground. Pricing starts for the base at $29,010 USD. Tester today is $44,356, including the destination charge. While we are here in the rear, we can simply just go right underneath the emblem, press the button, and you do have a power rear hatch. So that is super nice. Not something that you see too often, but maybe going forward we'll see it a lot more often in Subaru. Now you have a good nice space back here, rubberized type mat. You can see it says Outback, and I will go ahead and put on the screen for the dimensions in the rear. If you need to fold the seats down, there's a little lever there and a little lever there, and you can see it as a 60-40 split. Just want to point out in the front very quickly, there is a rear camera and a front camera. The front camera is hidden right there underneath the front emblem, so it is hidden quite well in there. Headlamps, nice and bright at night, obviously from an LED headlamp. Moving on around, you can see it does have keyless entry. Hopefully you can see that there. It is only on the front doors. It is not on the rear doors. I test getting into every single vehicle. Is it easy or is it not? I try to keep everyone in mind. I am 5'9" if you are new to my channel. So stepping into the rear, you have to kind of put your foot up just a little bit. It's not that it's super high off the ground, but once you are in here, there is a decent amount of headspace. I would say a good 3.5 inches. And then up here we have, I don't know, I would say 5.5, 6 inches, somewhere in there. So it does have a good amount of room. Again, I'm 5'9". Now, if we take a look as to what I'm talking about, stepping up just a little bit has some height, but if we kind of look at an angle, hopefully you can kind of see what kind of dip you're getting down into. So it's just kind of a unique thing. And then it's also just a hair bit like stadium seating, because again, I can see over it. I'm not super tall, being 5'9". So the seat sits up just a little bit, and you do have to duck here because of the pillar, but it's not bad at all. Some of the features, well, or things I should say, you have a couple of different little pockets there. You have a bigger one there, same thing on the other side. You have 2 vents, and then you do have heated rear seats, USB-C, USB-A. And then moving on back here, we can pull this down. You can see armrest and 2 cup holders. Before we jump into the front, just want to touch on the rear door panel, because so many manufacturers at times do cheap out on the rear doors. Got to give Subaru credit. They did not. It really feels just like the front. You have a nice window bezel there to make it feel a little bit more special, and then no wiggle, no jiggle, nice switch. And then this is all leather all the way through, soft touch type material. So that's also nice as well. Time to get into the front. So stepping in, not much ducking needed there if you're anywhere near my height. Again, 5'9". And then as far as like headspace, there is a ton of space. I would say a good 4.5-ish inches. And then of course you can adjust your seat wherever you want it. It is a power seat, also passenger seat, also power. Along with the power seats, you have 2 settings for memory seating. That is quite nice. You have power folding mirrors, all of your adjustments, autos for all 4. No wiggle, no jiggle, little bezels, definitely nice. Moving over here, you can hopefully see located right there, that is your rear hatch. You can simply just press that button and up it will go. Now, as we are in here, let's just take a look. So at the steering wheel level, you can see your volume controls, your seeking tracks. This little toggle will control your menu right up in there. The digital display is only that little section in the middle. I'm assuming probably next year, maybe, or the year after, I don't know, but like the new WRX TS has all digital instrument cluster. So hopefully, maybe we'll get that in here as well, because that would be a nice little touch. Over here on the right, you have adaptive cruise control. You have lane centering when the cruise is set. Heated steering wheel is located right down there. And then we move over here to this over 11-inch display. I believe it's 11.3. I'm going off of memory here, but I'm pretty sure. And then we can come down and look at the screen. We have the heated seats. We have the cooled seats. You have dual zone climate. I will just press something here just so you can see how it reacts, and then that is all up to you. And we have the auto stop start located right there. I turn that off as soon as I get in the car personally. Click this little car located right there, and now you have a bunch of different options, as you can see. Driving assistance, more settings, vehicle control, so on and so forth. This does have a monitoring system to make sure that you have your eyes on the road. It is located right in this little strip here. Moving up above, you do have a digital rear view mirror. Of course, you can turn it off if you would like, but there it is on. We have a sunglasses holder located there. And then up above, we do have just a sunroof. All right, back down here really quick, there is an option. It's like $300 and some odd for a wireless phone charger. You have an electronic parking brake, and of course your gear shift. You can press the view button here, and we'll take a look. That is the front camera. I know the reflections are kind of bad, and I apologize for that. But we'll go ahead and put it into reverse as well, and you can take a look there. Looking down in the center, we do have a center console, and there is a CD player as well. Have not seen that in quite some time, but if anyone wants a CD player, here's a vehicle with one. And you can see on the speaker, it is a Harman Kardon system in this, and it does sound quite good. Without further ado, let's go ahead and get this out on the drive. As we get this Touring XT out on the road, the first thing that I would like to note, and that's generally what I like to do, is as soon as I saw this, and I did no homework on it before getting the vehicle. And that's generally the case because you get a new vehicle every single week. So if I do the homework, it's like the night before to know all stats, figures, stuff like that. And it's not a vehicle that I personally am actively looking at this point in my life. Not to say at some point I won't. But with that said, I was thoroughly impressed whenever I saw leather seats. And you can smell them, like the true Napa leather seats. Boy, do they smell good. And I know that's kind of like a funny observation, but then also I saw ventilated / cooled seats. So there are not too many at the point of making this video that are offered in the Subaru lineup. Like I think the Solterra does, which is a cross-used platform with Toyota, like cross innovated, I guess, whatever. So kind of makes sense there, but we have them in here. And again, that was the first thing I really noticed, is just how nice this interior not only smells, looks, but feels as well. If you're new to my channel, I have 3 different categories for noise, and that would be wind noise, powertrain, and tires. Those are the 3 different categories. So powertrain, you can hear it whenever you're actually stepping on it. If you're not, it's very, very quiet, maintained. Wind noise, even on the freeway included, it's pretty maintained. I'm actually fairly impressed. I didn't think it'd be quite as maintained as what it is, just because the doors still feel fairly thin and light to like shut. And generally when that's the case, you kind of start to hear some wind noise. So, and again, you can hear a little bit, especially on the freeway, but it is not bad. It is definitely quite good. And then the other thing is the tires. And to me, that's probably the most apparent, I guess. But again, even that is not bad. It's very, very maintained for the most part, but you can hear it. One thing I love about Subarus for sure is the symmetrical all-wheel drive. The symmetrical all-wheel drive is just absolutely great. Like you can just step on it and there is 0 wheel spin. Like when I say 0, I mean 0 wheel spin. And if you guys are new to my channel, like just as a very quick backdrop, and for those that watch every single video, I do apologize because I'm sure you get tired of hearing it, but this is coming from a guy that has owned multiple different supercars, Acura NSXs, Audi R8s. I've owned C7 Z06s. Currently, I have a C7 Corvette that has 600 to the wheel. I've owned Kia Stinger GT2, which is all-wheel drive. I've owned a lot of vehicles. That's just naming a few. Yes, there are worse things to have as far as bad habits, but nonetheless, when I give compliments, I don't give them lightly, and their all-wheel drive system is probably the best, to be honest. It's really, really good. Now, let's test the suspension and the noise coming up to the cattle guard like we do every week. Here we go. Suspension. All right. That was really good and maintained. That was actually really good. Noise, I would say, is average, which is a good thing, but the suspension, wow, I did not expect it to quite be as smooth as that was. I hardly moved at all. That's incredible, really. Let's set our cruise control. Let's hit set. And now, of course, always keep your hands on the wheel. You guys know the deal, safety. But let's just test the steering, active lane centering here. Let's see how it does. Yeah, and I've got my hands here just in case, but I just want to see how it does. Just doing really well. Staying dead center. I'll take back control of it. As far as the adaptive cruise control goes, I think that does quite well. No issues or complaints in that department. Speeds up and slows down as it should. Let's touch on blind spots. Over to my left, the pillar is actually fairly skinny, so I don't think there's too much of an issue there. There is, of course, blind spot monitoring if you need it. Over to our right, maybe in the very, very back corner, but I mean, really, you should be able to see in your mirror at that point, so there's not much of a blind spot whenever it comes to this vehicle. After spending some time in it, I really cannot get over just how good the leather smells in this car. Like genuine Napa leather. I mean, this thing almost smells, and I know this is going to sound really wild to many of you, and this is even wild coming out of my mouth. It smells a lot to me almost like a Ferrari. If you've ever spent any time in a Ferrari, they have some of the best smelling leather. And I know that sounds weird. Don't get me wrong, but if you ever get a chance, smell inside a Ferrari, it's up there. And I got to tell you, this vehicle is one of the best smelling for leather interior. The Napa leather smells incredible. And at the date of this, yes, it is still a 2025, and it is literally January of 2025 when I'm filming this, but it already has almost 3,000 miles on this press car. So a lot of times, by the time it hits 3,000 miles, many vehicles, you cannot even really smell the new car smell, and this thing smells brand new. Now, as far as ride quality, we already kind of touched on the suspension. That was actually, again, very impressive. But I am very happy from a daily standpoint. You know, I've put some miles on this vehicle now and pleasantly surprised. Now, the biggest drawback, in my opinion, again, this is just my opinion. This does not change your opinion or anybody else's opinion. I just don't love the style of the look of the exterior because I'm not a big wagon style type of guy. And that's fine. You may love it. And even if you don't care about looks, you care about functionality, this is definitely a vehicle that I would be considering. The gas mileage is really good for true symmetrical all-wheel drive, and just how good it really is, it's up there. Not to mention, as you know with Subaru, crash test rating is very important. Not something that you want to test out yourself. However, anyone that's ever experienced an accident or a loved one in an accident, it is very important at the end of the day. All right, let's test this out here. Let's really get on it. 0 to 60 is about, again, 6 to 6.3 seconds, and this thing moves. Really does. Jamming on the brakes. The brakes are a little soft. Suspension wise, we're coming in pretty good. Wow, that's actually, we got some heat on that. Coming in, stepping on it, brakes again. And we've got a little bit of G-force there, so not too bad for handling. In summary, if you're looking for a vehicle that is, 1, safe, 2, comfortable, you have plenty of room in this vehicle. Like, you could easily fit 4 people on a road trip in this vehicle, no problem. Or if you need something that's really good in the winter, obviously I don't, living here in the suburbs of Phoenix. But if you do, and I've lived there before, I've lived in Michigan, Ohio, Kentucky, all of those definitely are states where we get some snow. Michigan and Toledo, Ohio, more than some of the others, and West Virginia as well. But nonetheless, if you're looking for a winter vehicle, definitely something that you may want to consider if all of the right things align for you. Again, if you're wanting gas mileage, comfortable, and dependable, this is, and it actually has a lot of pickup too. I mean, Jiminy Christmas, 0 to 60 in 6.3 for just an everyday car. Again, I've owned cars that are sub 3 seconds, you know, 2.7, 2.6, stuff like that. So yes, I know what fast is. That's not what this is, and that's not what it needs to be. It is, again, a very, very good family-oriented vehicle. Hopefully you guys enjoyed today's video, and as always, I'll catch you guys on the next one, which is going to be 5 things to love, 5 things to improve. Peace.